You can see that the performance percentage-wise year to date, trading one futures contract on the NASDAQ is 2,000% using our signals, which is just absurd. You can see we're just buying AI and then we're selling AI, right? So that's all we're doing here. And if we go all the way back from last year, you can see, let's just do it. You can see 11,000%. I mean, what's going on? It is Ryan here, CEO and head quant at Happy Trader. Wanted to go over some current events in the market. I had done a video last night, really late last night, about Sheeb, and man, that sucker just took off. Today we have the Nasdaq leading the charge, continuation of the futures from last night, overnight, the Globex session, down over 2%. So that's going to definitely rattle some feathers a little bit. That's going to turn the sentiment a little bit bearish. And we also have the S&P 500 and the Dow both handily down in tow to big tech, which is coming down. And if you look at crypto, look at that. Bitcoin, Ethereum just getting absolutely smashed. Now, that's the bad news, and it could be an interim top. So that's something I want to go over today, is just kind of my own brainstorming on the current state of the market. Today is Tuesday, March 5th, 2024. And we are looking at the market using happytrader.io, sentiment AI with a Luma trend. And what we're looking at here is, just a huge uptrend signal on the daily chart. But if we drill down a little bit, let's see if we can start to see, us rolling over. Let's go to the 45-minute chart. There it is. So, you can see here, kind of looks like a double bottom. Now, being almost the end of the trading day here on Tuesday, this is probably something that may not necessarily break right through. If it does break right through this support, that's going to be a really, really important indication of kind of overheating of the market. Now, something I will say on the positive side for the bulls is that anybody can say that, hey, the market's down, or hey, the market went down after the fact. But I do love how Happy Trader picked this up on the 45-minute chart. Pretty good stuff there. That's really kind of making me happy that it grabbed that, and it grabbed it right at midnight. It looks like, so that's kind of weird. So we had a signal directly at midnight, and we started selling off the Globex futures. I had done a video around that time, and the futures were down about the Nasdaq was down like maybe, I don't know, like less than a half. But what I will say is usually at these double bottoms, there is a little bit of support. So depending on what chart you're looking at, that would dictate some things. But you can see here on the NQ, we get some really, really slick signals here, uptrend and downtrend signals. And just for the heck of it, why don't we just set up a back test while we're doing this video? Yeah, that's not going to be it. We need to turn on deep back testing. You can look at a couple different things. Let's just look at 2024, 0101, and then we can look at just today, which is the 5th. And then let's go ahead and set just a $1,000 balance, and then we'll just do one contract. So small account size, and see what we come up with, and just see kind of with this drop, like what that's doing to the back testing. So let's go ahead and load her up. And you can see here, like the back test for Happy Trader, not too bad. This is going to be the long only back test. Now, if we pull up the long and short, let's actually look at the difference. Let's turn this off. And then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to set to 1,000, and we're going to do one contract and no pyramiding, so no orders in the same direction consecutively. And then we're going to generate the report. And okay, so the long and the short, you can obviously see the short is starting to print pretty well. We're kind of hitting a peak here, but this could be on the charts a double bottom, because when you see these peaks, like I've looked at enough of these back testing charts to really know what's going on here, or not to know, but to see the trends of how, you hit these peaks and then you get the valleys, right? So let's go back to the long only back test, and you can see that the performance percentage wise year to date, trading one futures contract on the NASDAQ is 2,000% using our signals, which is just absurd. You can see we're just buying AI and then we're selling AI, right? So that's all we're doing here. And then the long and the short is going to add that other element to it, where you're not only selling the AI, but you're closing that order. You're closing the buy AI, but you're also shorting the market simultaneously. So it looks like the long only is obviously still kind of the winner here. As far as year to date, you can see 10 total closed trades. That's pretty good. If we go to the list of trades, let's do one thing before we do that. You can see percent profitable. We've been running pretty bullish. Now, if you're already a subscriber at Happy Trader, you can see the percent profitable here on the long only, 60%. That could be an indicator of getting a little overheated. We usually run 1 out of 3 trades, somewhere around 30%. But we do have these graphs, right? But this one looks particularly good, right? This graph has just been going up and up and up. Might need to take a little bit of a breather. But again, if we go back to the chart, this could just be a double bottom. And you can see here, it's definitely support at this level where this original uptrend signal was. And for the market to fall through would indicate further bearishness in the market. And that could happen overnight. Usually, that type of dramatic fall doesn't happen intraday, but certainly with the indices down this much, it absolutely could end up going down this much into the close. So I really have to watch out for that and hedge appropriately or whatever. And this is not financial advice. This is for educational purposes only. But the good news is that we have this back test and we've done pretty good year to date. And if we go all the way back from last year, you can see, let's just do it. You can see 11,000%. I mean, we've just been drifting up and up and up. Drawdowns, yes, but very minimal in the grand scheme of things. I mean, yeah, 79.4% drawdown, but maybe like off this, right? What makes Happy Traders so good is that a lot of times on these futures, on these leveraged instruments, I've noticed, especially on the long only, and it's not just because we're in a bullish scenario. Over the years, right? We have really been able to keep our head above the water on many of these back tests. And psychologically, that's what it takes. Now, if that's too big of a size for you, you can always go over to the MNQ futures. And we're just kind of bopping around in this video a little bit. And we're going to generate the same report. You can see a little bit difference there. There is some arbitrage that happens between the micro NASDAQ and the regular NQ. So, you're going to have a little bit of price discrepancy. But you can see from 2023 all the way to today, 75 closed trades on the 45-minute chart, 1,200%. You can't argue with that. Not too bad. But you can see, I mean, that's really, really nice for only one contract, okay? And then again, we kept our head above water the entire time. So that's really, really important stuff there. And, just to kind of go over the list of trades, where you can see here percent profitable down since that period of the last, 14 months or so. But if you go to the list of trades, you can just see that our winners are they're more common now, which is surprising, which to me really indicates that the market's due for a breather. I've been saying this in some other videos. It's kind of uncertain to tell whether it's overheated or not, but we look at enough of these back tests to really tell, like, hey, if our win rate starts to go up on top of our equity curve going up, we may be like, if we're going like really above 30%, we might be getting a little bit overheated on the long only back test. And if we go to the short only for the same time period, we can see that, let's see what we have. We have 990%. So just Happy Trader's just really good no matter what way you trade. It doesn't really matter. Our results and our back test beat the market consistently, and that's what we care about. So that's why we designed this. We're here to help the retail trader, and that's really what everything is all about for Happy Traders. Just drilling down, let's go back to the actual chart. You can see here toward the end of the day, only 15 minutes left in the trading day. Just think a gamma squeeze, and as positions close and options expiries on the indices are daily and such. Thus, you can end up with a little bit of a squeeze toward the end of the day. So anybody selling calls, waiting for the whole end of the day to happen, you can get squeezed out of those calls. And this thing can push up, and oftentimes does, and washes out those call options. So you have a lot of intelligent participants in the market, and that's the type of efficiency that you'll run into. Now, that's not to say that the market is ultimately efficient, because I don't believe that it is. I think the market is more reflexive, like certain folks would say, if you're well read, and it tends to revert to the mean. Not always, but it tends to revert to the mean as far as macro, as far as getting super overheated, and when PEs get a little too out of control. And we can maybe see that. Let's just check out a couple of the high flyers and see how they're doing. Actually have no clue. So we're starting to get a little bit of a potential sell, but if you look at NVIDIA, that's a little bit of a clue that this could just be a dip. This thing might continue to run, but we did pick this one up on Happy Trader on February 29th, and that's been a ripper rally right there. So if you had Happy Trader, you're trading NVIDIA, that would be looking pretty good in your wallet there or in your brokerage app. What else can we look at? We can look at Bitcoin. Let's go ahead and just scan all across the market, and let's get rid of our back testers for now. We don't need to be doing. Well, we can keep the long only. Maybe we'll do a long only back test real quick. I mean, you can see Bitcoin here has its down trend signal intact. It's pretty close to the sell signal on the 15-minute And you can see this thing is starting to flatten out. We're going to try with crypto. What happens a lot of times is you get folks buying back up overnight. You get people coming home from work. You have the intertwining with the worldwide markets who are all involved, and that can squeeze these prices up to almost a total retest when you're running into sell-offs like this. But you can see that Happy Trader picked up this uptrend signal, and we just had a beautiful trend. We had a downtrend scalp on the 15-minute chart, and then if we go out to the 45, yeah, we're showing a macro downtrend. So that's pretty sharp. That looks pretty sharp to me. So that's something, again, we picked up on February 26th was like the uptrend. Then we had a downtrend signal that was really just a scalp. It looks small in this chart, but Bitcoin's moved a lot. So we have this uptrend signal that took over, and then now we have a downtrend signal on top of a sell. So we had a downtrend, but we had an uptrend, but we never had this downtrend really come to fruition off this sell signal, right? So that's why, this is something I say all the time. This is not super trend. You can superimpose this with super trend. You can superimpose this with a lot of free indicators, but unless you're looking at these signals here, which are the ones that we backtest when we turn on the backtester, you're going to get absolutely roasted taking a sell signal and then having the market come up against you. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that you're going to be able to trade using a free indicator because it's just not realistic. If you're a skilled trader and you have all the tools in the box and you know how to sell premium and stuff like that, you might be able to get away with it. If you're a quant, sure, maybe you have your own system where you can get away with it. But we designed Happy Trader to give you just that clear cut signal that says downtrend, right? And that's going to be our reinforcement that, hey, this is a potential signal, but this is the real deal Holyfield downtrend signal. And we're going to be, as you can see, realizing that in the form of profit taking in Bitcoin. Now, one more thing I want to say about Bitcoin. Getting near or surpassing the all-time high for the stalwart of all cryptocurrency is going to result in some whales, some of the original holders, some of the big holders, some of the bag holders selling this thing off. Okay, so maybe it's short term. It's releasing pressure out of the price. Okay, and then you're going to get a fair volume profile, which we don't use on our trading view chart because we were so reliant on our signals, which perform so well under so many conditions. But if you do look at a volume profile chart, you can see if we bust through one of these icebergs and price tension gets released to the downside enough, which it looks like it is, it's really selling off. And then we're also getting the markets moving together. It could either be the beginning of a macro downtrend or it depends. It depends on